A world without magic. In a multiverse where magic reigns supreme, there exists one realm that stands apart, the universe of Earth, a world bereft of mystical power. For eons, the humans of Earth lived in blissful isolation, unaware of the fantastical realms that lay beyond the boundaries of their reality. But their peaceful existence was shattered when the first of the Nightbreacher ships arrived. Void-black and sleek, the alien craft sliced through Earth's atmosphere, hovering ominously above the world's great cities. The Nightbreachers, hailing from a universe suffused with dark magic, had come seeking the power of Earth's shadows. In a brutal assault, they unleashed legions of midnight-armored warriors and demons of living darkness, quickly overwhelming Earth's defenses. Mere days after the Nightbreachers' onslaught, a second invasion struck. Brilliant mirrors in the sky heralded the arrival of the Luminary, resplendent beings from a cosmos of searing radiance and light magic. They sought to claim Earth's daylight, to harness its power for their own. From their heavenly cities descended angelic hosts and paladins in glittering armor, scourging the land with beams of searing illumination. Earth had barely begun to comprehend these threats when two more armies arrived through shimmering portals: the Geomancers, beings of living stone and earth magic, and the Tempestians, warriors of raging storms and water magic. The Geomancers shattered mountains and raised mighty earthworks, while the Tempestians unleashed tsunamis and hurricanes, submerging entire continents. Reeling from these devastating incursions, humanity scrambled to mount a defense. But what chance did they stand against foes who could reshape matter, summon the elements, and warp reality itself? The greatest militaries on Earth burned, their weapons useless against the invaders' otherworldly powers. Amid the chaos and despair, one woman stepped forward to rally humanity's survivors. Her name was Ilara Solaris, a former astronaut who had witnessed the invasions from the International Space Station. Returning to a world in ruins, Ilara refused to yield to the conquerors from the magical realms. If Earth lacked magic, she declared, then humanity would fight back with the powers it did possess: science, technology, and an indomitable spirit that refused to submit. Under Ilara's leadership, the remnants of humanity withdrew to hidden redoubts deep beneath the earth. In these secret strongholds, Earth's greatest minds gathered: the scientists, engineers, and visionaries who would forge humanity's last hope. Factories and laboratories roared to life as women and men worked tirelessly to create the weapons that would win back their world. If they could not wield magic, then they would master the forces of nature: energy, matter, and fundamental particles. As the invaders scoured the surface for the last pockets of resistance, humanity prepared for its greatest test. The bunkers echoed with the hum of strange devices and crackled with arcs of exotic energy. The survivors trained relentlessly, mastering the tools that would soon decide the fate of Earth. A reckoning was coming, and this time, humanity would not be found wanting. The children of Earth would rise to face the conquerors of universes, and they would show the true meaning of power. Humanity strikes back. In the hidden enclaves beneath the world's shattered surface, Ilara Solaris forged a new alliance: the Human Federation, a final bastion for the survivors of Earth. Scientists, soldiers, and civilian volunteers alike pledged themselves to the cause, united by a shared determination to reclaim their home. The Federation's strategy hinged on three key initiatives, each targeting a specific vulnerability of the magical invaders. First, the scientists of Earth delved deep into the study of exotic particles and quantum fields, seeking ways to neutralize the aliens' supernatural abilities. Second, the engineers and weapons specialists worked to develop a new arsenal for humanity: not magic, but sufficiently advanced technology, indistinguishable from it. Finally, Ilara herself coordinated a global intelligence network to gather vital data on the invaders, seeking any weakness in their defenses. As the aliens combed the ravaged surface for survivors, the Human Federation prepared to strike back. Elite commando teams, equipped with prototype power armor and zero-point energy weapons, launched daring raids on the invaders' outposts. Cloaked by metamaterial camouflage and guided by quantum-entangled communicators, these guerrilla fighters struck with devastating effect, vanishing into the shadows before the aliens could bring their magic to bear. In hidden launch silos, the Federation's engineers worked tirelessly to construct a new breed of spacecraft, sleek, stealthy vessels powered by advanced fusion drives and armed with relativistic kinetic kill vehicles. As the commando raids drew the aliens' attention planet-side, these ships slipped out into space, targeting the invaders' orbiting command centers and supply lines. Meanwhile, in the heart of the Federation's deepest bunker, Ilara pored over streams of intelligence data, piecing together a picture of the aliens' plans. Through captured enemy communications and eyewitness accounts, a chilling realization took shape. The invaders were preparing a final devastating assault to wipe out humanity once and for all. Ilara knew that the Federation needed more time to complete its ultimate weapon, a device that could nullify magic itself, turning the aliens' greatest strength into their fatal weakness. In a desperate gambit, she hatched a plan to lure the invaders into a trap, buying the precious days the scientists needed to finish their work. Gathering the Federation's leaders, Ilara outlined a daring deception. They would allow a critical piece of information to fall into enemy hands, the location of a hidden command bunker, supposedly the heart of human resistance. In reality, this bunker would be a decoy, laced with hidden minefields and fusion warheads. When the aliens inevitably attacked en masse, they would find only death awaiting them. The risk was immense, for if the aliens saw through the ruse, they would surely rain destruction upon the true heart of the Federation. But Ilara was convinced that the gambit would work, for the invaders, in their arrogance, believed that humanity was already broken and incapable of such guile. As the Federation made its final preparations, a sense of grim determination settled over the survivors of Earth. The hour of reckoning was at hand, and humanity would face its destiny united. In the darkness of the bunkers, 1,000,000 hands worked with feverish intensity, forging the tools of humanity's salvation. And on the ravaged surface, the warriors of Earth steeled themselves for the battle to come, ready to give their lives for a world they barely remembered, but refused to abandon. The children of a shattered Earth were about to remind the universe of a fundamental truth, that the greatest power is not magic, but the unbreakable will of those who fight for their home. The conquerors of universes were about to learn the folly of underestimating the weakest among them, for when backed into a corner, even a mouse will bare its fangs. The gathering storm. As the final pieces of Ilara's trap fell into place, the hidden bunkers of the Human Federation hummed with nervous anticipation. The bait had been laid, the fusion warheads primed, and all that remained was for the alien invaders to take it. In the command center of the true Federation headquarters, Ilara and her inner circle watched the sensor feeds with bated breath, waiting for the enemy to make their move. They did not have to wait long. Mere hours after the leaked intelligence reached the invaders, their armies began to converge on the decoy bunker from all corners of the globe. The Night Bridgers came first, their midnight-clad warriors pouring through portals of living shadow. Close behind followed the glittering hosts of the Luminary, their angelic champions soaring on wings of searing light. From the shattered earth rose the stony phalanxes of the geomancers, while the skies above churned with the storm-lashed armies of the Tempestians. As the aliens closed in on the trap, Ilara turned to her second-in-command, a grizzled former general named Valkyr. The old soldier's face was lined with the weight of the coming battle, but his eyes shone with unwavering resolve. "It's time," Ilara said softly, placing a hand on Valkyr's shoulder. "The warheads are armed, and our people are clear. We only need to transmit the detonation codes." Valkyr nodded grimly, his hand hovering over the transmitter. "And so we consign 1,000,000 of the bastards to oblivion. A fitting end for those who thought Earth would be an easy prize." Ilara's grip tightened, her voice taking on a hard edge. "They will learn the price of underestimating humanity. We may not have magic, but we have the will to fight for our home until the bitter end. and that is a power greater than any they wield. For a moment, the two leaders locked eyes, a silent understanding passing between them. They both knew the risks of the coming gambit, that the aliens might see through the deception, that the Federation's ultimate weapon might not be completed in time. But they also knew that this was humanity's best chance, perhaps its only chance, to turn the tide of the war. With a final nod, Valkyr input the detonation codes and pressed the transmit key. On the main view screen, the decoy bunker seemed to ripple and distort, as if reality itself was wavering. Then, with a blinding flash, the trap sprung. Fusion fire erupted from beneath the Earth, engulfing the alien armies in an inferno of star-hot plasma. The screens whited out as 1,000 suns bloomed on the planet's surface, the light of humanity's vengeance searing across the globe. When the glare faded, the bunker and the surrounding landscape had vanished, replaced by a glowing crater of vitrified Earth. In the stunned silence that followed, Ilara turned to the Federation's chief scientist, a brilliant physicist named Zephyr. "Tell me," she said quietly, "that we bought enough time. Tell me that the nullifier will be ready." Zephyr, her face pale but determined, nodded slowly. "It will be ready. The final calibrations are underway as we speak. Within 3 days, we will have a weapon capable of stripping the aliens of their magic, of turning the tide of this war." Ilara closed her eyes, a brief flicker of relief crossing her features. But the moment was short-lived, for she knew that the greatest test was yet to come. The aliens, enraged by the loss of their troops, would surely redouble their efforts to find and destroy the Federation. The next 3 days would be the most perilous humanity had ever faced, a desperate race against time, with the fate of Earth hanging in the balance. As if on cue, the command center erupted in a flurry of activity as sensor alarms blared to life. On the screens, new waves of alien ships and soldiers were materializing across the globe, their numbers far greater than any seen before. The invaders, it seemed, were done underestimating humanity, and they were bringing the full might of their magic to bear. Ilara and Valkyr shared a grim look, the weight of the coming storm settling on their shoulders. The trap had been sprung, but the real battle was only just beginning. The Federation would need every ounce of humanity's courage and determination to weather the onslaught to come, and to hold out long enough for the nullifier to be unleashed. As the alarms continued to wail and the invaders closed in, Ilara stepped forward to address the men and women of the Federation. Her voice rang out, steady and unwavering, a beacon of hope in the gathering darkness. "People of Earth," she said, her words echoing through the bunkers and across the ravaged surface. "The time has come to stand together, to fight for all that we hold dear. The invaders believe that they have broken us, that we are weak and powerless before their magic. But they are wrong, for we have a strength that they can never understand. The strength of a species that refuses to yield, that will fight to the last breath for the right to exist. We are humanity, the warriors without magic, and we will not go quietly into the night. We will rage against the dying of the light, and we will reclaim our world from those who would see it destroyed. Stand with me now, stand with the human Federation, and let us show the universe the true meaning of power." As Ilara's words faded, a roar of defiance rose from the people of Earth. 1,000,000 voices joined in a single, unyielding cry. And in that moment, as humanity stood united against the darkness, the tide of the war began to turn. The conquerors of universes had come to Earth seeking an easy victory, but they would find only the fury of a species pushed to the brink, and the unyielding will of those who fought for their very existence. The final battle for Earth was about to begin, and the warriors without magic would meet it head-on, determined to forge their own destiny among the stars. Shock and awe. As the alien invaders closed in on the human Federation's strongholds, Ilara Solaris stood resolute in the face of the gathering storm. With the nullifier nearing completion, she knew that the next 3 days would decide the fate of Earth and of humanity itself. The trap at the decoy bunker had bought them precious time, but now the real battle was at hand. Across the globe, The remnants of humanity braced for the onslaught. In the hidden bunkers and redoubts, soldiers donned advanced power armor and checked the charges on their zero-point energy weapons. Engineers made final adjustments to the stealthy spacecraft, preparing for the desperate counterattack to come. And in the heart of the Federation's stronghold, the scientists worked frantically to complete the nullifier, Earth's last hope for victory. The first blow fell like a thunderbolt from a clear sky. In a blinding flash of sorcerous light, the luminaries' angelic hosts descended upon the Federation's defenses, their radiant blades carving through armor and flesh alike. Close behind came the Nightbridgers, their shadow-cloaked warriors melding with the darkness to strike from unseen quarters. The earth itself heaved and buckled as the geomancers brought their stone-shaping magic to bear, while hurricanes and tidal waves lashed the coasts at the command of the Tempestians. Against this onslaught, the warriors of Earth stood firm. Power-armored soldiers met the luminary in brutal close combat, their energy blades flashing in the chaos of battle. Cloaked commandos waged a deadly game of cat and mouse with the Nightbridgers, striking from the shadows before vanishing into the gloom. In the skies above, the Federation's spacecraft dueled with the alien warships, their relativistic kill vehicles tearing through the invaders' hulls. Yet for all their valor, the defenders of Earth were vastly outnumbered. Slowly, inexorably, the aliens pushed forward, their magic overwhelming the Federation's technology. Bunkers crumbled under the geomancers' assault, while entire cities were swept away by the Tempestians' fury. The casualty reports flooded in, each one a dagger to Ilara's heart, but she refused to despair. The nullifier was almost ready, and with it, humanity would have a fighting chance. As the battle raged on, Ilara turned to Zephyr, the Federation's chief scientist. The physicist's face was drawn and haggard, but her eyes shone with triumph as she entered the command center. "It's done," Zephyr said, her voice barely above a whisper. "The nullifier is complete." Ilara felt a surge of hope, tempered by the knowledge of the sacrifice to come. She nodded grimly, then turned to Valkyr, her second in command. "Gather our best warriors," she said, steel in her voice. "We'll need to buy Zephyr time to get the nullifier into position." Valkyr saluted sharply, then strode from the room, barking orders into his comlink. Within minutes, a hand-picked team of the Federation's most skilled fighters had assembled, ready to embark on a mission that would likely be their last. As the team prepared to depart, Ilara pulled Valkyr aside, her eyes searching his battle-scarred face. For a moment, the mask of the commander fell away, revealing the depth of emotion beneath. "Valkyr," she said softly. "I." The old soldier silenced her with a gentle touch, his calloused hand resting on her cheek. "I know, Ilara. I've always known. But duty comes first, for both of us. Earth needs you to be strong, now more than ever." Ilara nodded, blinking back the tears that threatened to fall. Then, with a final squeeze of Valkyr's hand, she turned to face the team. "Warriors of Earth," she said, her voice ringing with power. "The time has come to strike back against those who would see us destroyed. Today, we fight not just for ourselves, but for the billions who came before us, and the generations yet to be born. We fight for the right to exist, to chart our own course, conquest, and vengeance." As Valkyr and his team of elite warriors raced towards the heart of the alien encampment, Zephyr and her fellow scientists worked feverishly to prepare the nullifier for deployment. The device was a marvel of human ingenuity, a fusion of cutting-edge physics and reverse-engineered alien technology. At its core lay a pulsing sphere of exotic matter, capable of generating a field that would disrupt the very fabric of magic itself. But getting the nullifier into position would be no easy feat. The device was bulky and delicate, requiring a specialized transport to carry it safely through the war-torn landscape. And even if they could get it close enough to the alien stronghold, they would need to protect it long enough for the field to reach critical strength, a process that would take several minutes, during which the device would be vulnerable to attack. As the transport convoy wound its way through the ruined streets, Zephyr clutched the nullifier's control console tightly, her knuckles white with tension. Around her, a hand-picked squad of the Federation's most powerful warriors stood guard, their weapons trained on the shadows. They knew that the aliens would stop at nothing to prevent the nullifier from being deployed, and they were prepared to lay down their lives to ensure its success. Miles away, Valkyr and his team were engaged in a desperate battle of their own. They had managed to infiltrate the alien encampment using a combination of stealth technology and sheer audacity, but now they were locked in a brutal firefight with the invaders' elite guard. Energy beams and sorcerous blasts crisscrossed the battlefield as the human warriors fought with a ferocity born of desperation. At the center of the chaos stood Valkyr, his power armor glowing with an unearthly light as he wielded a massive energy cannon. The old soldier was a force of nature, mowing down rank after rank of alien warriors with relentless determination. But even he could not hold out forever against the tide of enemies. Just as it seemed that the team would be overwhelmed, a brilliant flash lit up the sky. The nullifier had arrived, its transport convoy breaking through the alien lines with a daring charge. As the device thrummed to life, a shimmering field began to expand outward, washing over the battlefield like a wave of static. The effect was immediate and devastating. Across the encampment, alien warriors staggered and fell, their magical powers flickering and dying as the nullifier's field engulfed them. Sorcerous blasts fizzled out in midair, while enchanted blades and armor crumbled to dust. In a matter of moments, the once mighty invaders were reduced to a confused and panicked rabble, easy prey for the human warriors. Valkyr let out a triumphant roar as he led his team in a final charge, cutting down the defenseless aliens with ruthless efficiency. As the last of the invaders fell, a cheer went up from the human forces, a cry of victory that echoed across the shattered landscape. But even as they savored their triumph, the warriors of Earth knew that the battle was far from over. The nullifier had given them a fighting chance, but the aliens still held much of the planet in their grasp. To truly reclaim their world, they would need to take the fight to the invaders' own realms, to strike at the heart of their power and shatter their hold on the multiverse. As Valkyr and his team regrouped with Zephyr and the nullifier convoy, they received an urgent transmission from Ilara. The Federation scouts had identified a series of dimensional portals that the aliens were using to bring reinforcements from their home universes. If they could capture those portals and turn them against the invaders, they could open up new fronts in the war and take the fight to the enemy on their own turf. Without hesitation, Valkyr and Zephyr mobilized their forces and set out for the nearest portal. As they approached the shimmering rift in space-time, they could see alien warriors pouring through from the other side, their armor glinting in the eerie light. But this time, the humans were ready for them. With the nullifier at their back and the fury of Earth in their hearts, they charged into the fray, determined to seize the portal and turn the tide of the war once and for all. The battle for Earth had become a battle for the multiverse itself, and the warriors of humanity would not rest until the invaders were driven back to the dark realms from whence they came. As the fighting raged across dimensions, the warriors of Earth unleashed the full might of their science and courage upon the magical foe. In the shattered cities of the Nightbreaker's Shadow Realm, power-armored soldiers hunted the darkness-cloaked aliens through the gloom, their energy weapons blazing like captive suns. Across the blasted wastelands of the Geomancer's world, human engineers turned the planet's own seismic fury against its masters, triggering massive earthquakes and volcanic eruptions that swallowed entire enemy formations. In the searing deserts of the Luminary's sun-scorched universe, cloaked human commandos struck like ghosts, sabotaging the radiant beings' solar forges and plunging their cities into darkness. And on the storm-racked oceans of the Tempestuous realm, the Federation's spacecraft dueled with living typhoons and sentient tsunami, their relativistic killshots piercing the hearts of the alien leviathans. Yet for all their victories, the warriors of Earth knew that they were racing against time. The aliens were regrouping, rallying their forces for a final devastating counterattack. If humanity was to have any hope of survival, they needed to strike a decisive blow, to cut off the invaders' ability to make war across the dimensions. To that end, Ilara and her advisors had devised a daring plan. Using the nullifier's exotic matter core as a catalyst, they would create a cascading dimensional rift, a self-sustaining wormhole that would connect all of the alien realms to a single, inescapable endpoint, a prison dimension forged from the twisted space-time of a collapsed star, where the invaders would be trapped for all eternity. But to create such a rift would require a sacrifice, a willing soul to guide the exotic matter core through the dimensional barriers, knowing that they would be trapped on the other side forever. Without hesitation, Valkyr stepped forward to volunteer, his grizzled face set in a mask of grim determination. Ilara protested fiercely, tears streaming down her face as she begged her old friend to reconsider. But Valkyr was resolute. He had sworn an oath to defend Earth, and he would fulfill that vow to his last breath. With a final, crushing embrace, the two parted ways. A commander and her loyal soldier, each prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice for the world they loved. As Valkyr vanished into the shimmering portal, exotic matter core in hand, Ilara turned to face the remaining warriors of Earth. Her eyes blazed with the fire of 1,000 suns, her voice ringing out across the dimensions like a clarion call to arms. "Warriors of humanity," she cried, "the time has come to end this war once and for all. Our enemies sought to conquer us, to crush our spirit, and enslave our worlds. But they failed to understand the true strength of Earth, the courage and indomitable will of its people. We fight not for glory or conquest, but for the right to forge our own destiny among the stars. And we will never, ever surrender that right. For we are the children of Earth, the warriors without magic, the champions of science and courage. And we will not rest until the multiverse is free from the tyranny of the arcane. Forward, warriors of Earth, to victory, and to the stars beyond." As Ilara's words echoed across the dimensional gulf, a roar of defiance rose from the assembled human armies. With renewed vigor and determination, they surged forward, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The war for the multiverse had reached its endgame, and the warriors of Earth would see it through to the end. A new dawn. In the heart of the prison dimension, a figure stood alone against the swirling maelstrom of warped space-time. Valkyr, the grizzled warrior who had sacrificed everything to trap the alien invaders, gazed out upon the twisted landscape with eyes that had seen the depths of war and the heights of courage. Around him, the shattered remnants of the alien armies drifted in the void, their once proud forms reduced to broken husks. The Nightbreachers, the Luminary, the Geomancers, the Tempestians, all had fallen before the might of Earth's champions, their magic and their malice undone by the indomitable will of humanity. But Valkyr knew that the war was not yet won. Though the invaders had been trapped and broken, their leaders still clung to power, desperate to find a way back to the realms they had once conquered. And so the old soldier stood watch, his energy cannon at the ready, prepared to defend the prison dimension with his last breath. Back on Earth, the warriors of the Human Federation celebrated their hard-won victory. In the ruins of shattered cities and the ashes of fallen civilizations, they gathered to honor the sacrifices of the fallen and to lay the foundations for a new and better world. Under Ilara's wise guidance, they began to rebuild, not just their homes and infrastructure, but their very society, forged anew in the fires of war and tempered by the unbreakable spirit of humanity. In the heart of the Federation's capital, a great monument was erected, a towering statue of Valkyr, the hero who had given his all to save his people. At its base, inscribed in letters of gold, were the words that had become the rallying cry of Earth's champions. For we are the warriors without magic, the champions of science and courage, and we will never surrender. As the weeks turned to months, and the months to years, the people of Earth turned their gaze outward once more. With the alien threat contained and their world secure, they looked to the stars with newfound hope and determination. The war had taught them the true extent of their strength, the power that came not from sorcery or supernatural might, but from the unquenchable fire of the human spirit. And so, with Ilara at the helm and the legacy of Earth's champions to guide them, the Human Federation set out to explore the multiverse anew. They forged alliances with friendly races, trading knowledge and resources in the spirit of cooperation and mutual understanding. They established outposts and colonies on far-flung worlds, bringing the light of human ingenuity to the darkest corners of the cosmos. And when they encountered hostile forces, they stood firm and unyielding, secure in the knowledge that they had faced the worst the multiverse had to offer, and emerged victorious. As the years turned to decades, the legend of Earth's warriors spread far and wide. Across the dimensions, the tale was told of the mighty Valkyr, who had sacrificed his freedom to trap the alien invaders, of Zephyr, the brilliant scientist who had unraveled the secrets of magic and forged the nullifier, of the countless heroes who had fought and bled and died to defend their world and their way of life. And at the center of it all stood Ilara, the visionary leader who had guided her people through their darkest hour and into a new dawn. Under her rule, the Human Federation became a beacon of hope and progress, a shining example of what could be accomplished when the courage and determination of humanity were united in common cause. In the prison dimension, Valkyr stood eternal watch, his vigil a testament to the unyielding spirit of Earth's defenders. And though he was lost to his people, his sacrifice was never forgotten, a shining beacon of courage and selflessness that would inspire generations of warriors to come. For the children of Earth had learned the true meaning of strength, a power that came not from the arcane, but from the indomitable will of the human heart. And armed with that strength, they would face whatever challenges the multiverse had in store, secure in the knowledge that they were the masters of their own destiny. And so the tale of the warriors without magic came to an end, not with a whimper, but with a bang that resounded across the dimensions, a testament to the courage and resilience of the human spirit, and a reminder to all who would seek to conquer or destroy that the people of Earth would never, ever surrender. For they were the champions of science and courage, the defenders of the multiverse, and their legend would endure for all eternity, a shining beacon of hope and defiance in the face of even the darkest of foes. The end.